Shalom Aleichem. Tonight, the 19th of Cheshvan, is the Yahrtzeit of our Mashpia, Meilech Zwibul, Rabbi Meilech Zwibul, Olav Shalom, who we could say was one of the Geonim, not only within the Chabad community, but actually the entire world. I got to Morristown in the fall, September, Elul of Tafshin Lamed Ches, I believe, or Lamed Tes. And this is after having as a mashpia a Rebbe Lipsker in Ocean Parkway, the Lubavitch Yeshiva, being tested by Rabbi Yoel Khan for Chasidus, and of course participating in the Rebbe's Farbrengens. And here I was, a 17, 18-year-old Bocher, and Reb Meilech opened up not only for me but for my Chaverim, my friends, and our entire Beis Medrash and Zal, the quantity and quality of Chasidus. Now, what do I mean? The breitkeit, the expansion and expansiveness of Chasidus from all sides, this Maimer and that Maimer, from the Rebbe Marash to the Tzemach Tzedek, from the Tzemach Tzedek to the Rebbe Rashab. I recall we were learning Samach Vov. It took us weeks to get through the first page, because on every line he had entire biurim, both in Nigla and the Chasidus. And then the Farbrengens. The Farbrengens opened up for us the stories, not so the stories of Chassidim that he heard for his mashpia Reb Shlomo Chaim. And I had a fondness towards Reb Shlomo Chaim, although I didn't learn by him, but through my father, who was a Talmud of Reb Shlomo Chaim's for many, many years. Father Zogazunzain is a little older than Reb Meilech. He remembers the fact when Reb Meilech came to the Lubavitch Yeshiva in Lud as a young boy, and he remembered that he sat in the shir with Bochurim who were 5-6 years his age, older than him, To see the harchava of Chasidus and knowing the lines in my morim that you would never think of even looking there was phenomenal and very, very uplifting and inspiring. The setting in Morristown at that time was such that we were able to isolate ourselves from the world. Besides the Mivtzoyim, the outreach that we did on Fridays, we were basically in the yeshiva, or if we went to for Shabbos for a Farbrengen, and there weren't Farbrengens every single Shabbos. The atmosphere lent itself to experience more intimate issues within the person, and and we were able to dialogue, at least I was, with Reb Meilech Zwibul. And this too was something very new, because until then we were like a spoon-fed. The maturity of the mind at 18 and 19 and 20 develops to the point where you start asking the tough questions. Who am I, and why am I, and where am I? And this is why this is so relevant. This isn't just a tribute to Reb Meilech, another tribute. We've done that in the past. I'm thinking about it today here, how this is relevant to the young people that are starting their life and want to know what life's about. What they want to know what does it mean to be a Chasid? How do I deal with issues? And the Meilech gave us that opportunity. Morristown gave us the opportunity, but within Morristown, who was the star? I mean, of the yeshiva? Why did Bochurim gravitate to Morristown at that time? It wasn't just because it was in an isolated area and away from the city, and and food and dormitory. It was a Meilech Zwibul. No question about it. His Farbrengens, which I've also spoken about in the past, but it's worth revisiting, is when you really saw him at his best. Now, what do I mean? The Meilech was an intellect. It lent itself, intellect, to coldness, to being, removed and distant. And for many, it was that way. But if you endeavored to get close to him, you could. At the Farbrengen, be it because of the atmosphere, the singing, the nigunim, the lechayims, he really opened up. And he opened up where he would sing and be more emotional, and it was a very, very special type of Farbrengen. The Rabbi Yoel Khan had his style. Other Chassidim have their style. Meilech's Farbrengens were very, very animated in the sense of the harchava, the expansiveness of Chassidishkeit, from this chassid to that chassid. Pirshul Klimovitcher, this chassid and that chassid, names that I never heard before. Now they're like bread and butter. Chayzim in Lubavitch. I remember Notale. Who was this Notale? This was a chassid, Notale of the Tzemach Tzedek, who Reb Shmuel Witten used to always talk about and repeat, because he heard about him and he shared things, and a Meilech was, I think, relatively close to Reb Shmuel in 770, and he heard things from him. This tells us that a good way to get to young people is through a good Chassidish Farbrengen. Yes, the Haskalah of Chassidus is very important. To koch sich in Chassidus, and to try to understand the Wort, and to try to really figure out Pshat, you and your Chavrusa. Absolutely. But the Chassidish Farbrengen that we had with a Meilech that can be emulated today, be it with your mashpiyim, be it with your chaverim, and most importantly, with yourself. You need to make a decision that you want such a Farbrengen, so you nuji your mashpiyah, and you sit there and you listen. I remember we sat and listened. There was no interruptions, and there was no cell phones. And I'm not saying that everyone stayed till the end of the Farbrengen. I'm not saying that. But overall, it was a very uplifting experience where you walked away saying, I want to be this way. So, l'schusai, his neshama, it's his Yahrtzeit, that he gave so much to Lubavitch and Lubavitch Bochurim, that we owe it to him to share this with the next generation, and Taka may be reunited with us together with everyone else through the coming of Mashiach, Bekarev, Mamish, L'chaim, L'chaim, L'vracha.